It's 7:30. Good morning, I'm Ian Crouch with Hunter News. The developer wanting to build a large housing project at Whitebridge has been told to go back to the drawing board. The Joint Regional Planning Panel last night deferred the $23 million development, saying changes need to be made to the size of it if it's to go ahead. However, the panel did approve a major expansion to the Stockland-Glendale shopping centre, which will see the number of shops there doubled. Shipbuilders will rally outside the Raymond Terrace office of Paterson MP Bob Baldwin at midday over recent job losses at Forjax. Defence contracts are winding up, forcing the company to lay off hundreds of workers. The Australian Manufacturing Workers Union is blaming the Abbott government for the current situation. Bob Baldwin says he'll be happy to meet with the workers.
Well, yes, I will be there, and I want to meet the workers, and I want to explain to them that their union seemed to have lost their voice during the entire time Labor were in government. Because if the union were telling the truth, they would understand that contracts needed to be signed back in 2010 for there to be work on the ground at Forjax today.
Port Waratah Coal Services has now agreed to pay $12 million to Newcastle Council in developer levies if its T4 coal loader gets the go-ahead. In what's been described as a big win for ratepayers, the Herald says $2 million would be paid up front when construction starts, with a further $400,000 a year for 25 years. Planning officials originally recommended the coal company pay just over $500,000 in contributions. Labor MP for Charlton Pat Conroy is backing Labor's new renewable energy policy ahead of the announcement of the ALP National Conference. The policy will aim to have 50% of Australia's power generated from renewable sources by 2030. Pat Conroy has been discussing the developments in renewable sources with unions and the workforce and is confident issues can be addressed concerning the transition from coal to renewables.
I believe the Hunter is in a great position to pioneer some of the new renewable energy generation facilities, and that means that if the transition's handled well, we can maintain jobs in the energy sector as we shift from coal to renewables.
There are more financial woes for Nathan Tinkler. The former billionaire has been served with a formal bankruptcy notice over $3 million owed from the sale of his private jet. GE Commercial Australasia is taking action against Tinkler, claiming he failed to pay back the money despite a Supreme Court order in May. The Regional Illegal Dumping Squad is raising awareness of illegal dumping and the effects it has on the Hunter community. 2 separate truckloads of building materials have been dumped illegally at Ryhope and Kurri Kurri. RID Squad host Alice Howe is reminding the Hunter of the public health hazard and financial costs caused by illegal dumping.
Illegal dumping can present a serious public health hazard. It can provide a risk to the environment, and it can also impose significant financial costs on ratepayers if we can't identify who's responsible.
Sport, thanks to our sponsor Warners Bay Sports Club.
Former Adelaide midfielder Cameron Watson is set to join the Newcastle Jets at training this morning, with confirmation of his signing expected later today. He'll be joining former Adelaide teammates Nigel Bogart and Daniel Mullen in the Jets' new and improved squad. The Jets will still be chasing another 2 or 3 players to round out their roster. Despite recent health scares, Newcastle Knights centre Dane Gagai is keen to play in their match against the South Sydney Rabbitohs tomorrow night. The 24-year-old was rushed to hospital during last week's victory over the Titans, suffering an abnormal heart rhythm. Gagai will require further cardiologist assessment before getting given the go-ahead. And the Newcastle Hunters are gearing up for a big game tomorrow night when they take on the Hornsby Spiders in the Waratah Basketball League Elimination Playoff. Hunters forward Charlotte Bull is ready for the challenge, saying the team is excited to finally have a home playoff. That's sport. I'm Georgia Moylan.
2 in URFM News Time, 26 to 8.